they'll keep that up till February. So I propose another resolution. This year, resolve to be camp ready. Now, what do I mean by that? At Noble RV, camp ready means never wondering if your RV will be ready for May long weekend. You know it'll be ready because you made the decision back in the winter. You know now.
Is Camp Ready something I can get from Noble RV?
That's right, Bob. Camp Ready is our 12-month RV maintenance plan. It includes winterization in the fall, startup in the spring, roof assessments every year, and all your scheduled maintenance. So when you want to get to the great outdoors, you already know you're Camp Ready.
How do I get to be Camp Ready, Rick?
We're starting small, Bob. Just 29 Camp Ready plans are still available at Noble right now.
And that's Noble.
NobleRV.ca.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Welcome to the Lowdown. Today's show, Oilers Wade Pickard. The West will be won going through the Central, I believe that, in the spring. And what are you going to do for Super Bowl Sunday snacks? All on the way. The Lowdown brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. We're live on YouTube and Sports 1440. Online at iHeartRadio, sports1440.ca, and Radio Player Canada. After the show, Apple and Spotify podcast, and we tweeted out on X for you as well. We're on Twitter at Lowetide, at Declan Krueger, at JFenwick04. And of course, we have two guests today. On the way at 1:20 today. We'll be joined by Jason Gregor to talk about the Super Bowl, also the Edmonton Oilers and possible moves they may make. We know Pickard is on waivers waiting to find out if he's been picked up. And Rachel Krychak will join us at 12:40 from Betalytics and talk about the Oilers, talk about the outdoor game yesterday, and so much more. It is time for the introductions. Her favorite Super Bowl treat is Sunny Boy cereal. Comes from Camrose, and that's where she's from. Ladies and gentlemen, Mackenzie. Mackenzie. First time on the show. Welcome, Mackenzie.
Hello.
Are you, you're a NAIT student?
Yes, I am.
You are here to learn and to become better at radio and to prosper and become famous.
Hopefully.
All right. I like all of that. Do you like sports?
I do like sports.
What kind of music do you like?
I like Taylor Swift.
Okay. You're a Swiftie.
I am a big Swiftie.
Do not talk to Donovan about this.
You know what? She's everywhere, so you can't escape her.
Exactly. Just tell him to calm down is what you should do. Anyway, welcome to the show. We'll be asking you many questions and embarrassing you in the days to come. Are you okay with that?
Of course.
All right. His favorite Super Bowl nibbly is a real hamburger with 2 patties, cheese, tomato, mustard, all on a bun, fresh out of the oven. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Josh Fenwick. Josh Fenwick.
Yeah, I'm going to have to pass on the tomatoes there. However, I will also pass on some news. Pickard clears waivers.
Okay. Now,
per Elliot Friedman a minute ago.
Will he stay in town? Because I don't think he's going down to Bakersfield just a little bit before the Olympics, and they might have a trade for him. A little surprised he cleared. Glad he did. Hopefully he stays in
town. And Kirkland did too.
Okay, good player. All right. His favorite Super Bowl nibbly is raw tofu with no seasoning on top of unleavened bread because he's a health nut. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Declan Krueger. Declan Krueger. You also do push-ups during the anthem, don't you?
No, but you know what's crazy? I've been seeing this weird like promo video on TikTok a lot lately about this guy doing like push-ups in the snow.
Okay.
In like a safety uniform. I don't know what it's all about. I scroll right past it, but so it's weird that you brought up push-ups because that's been on my feed a lot lately.
I
also
feel
like AI slot casino games.
Yeah. I also feel like I mean, I know you eat good. Well, I see you make really tasty like smelling things you never share, but I also think you're like, do you just ever drive somewhere and just have a guilt burger or anything? Or Okay.
For sure. I don't eat as well as probably people think I do. I used to eat a lot better. Like I used to eat like 1,100 calories a day, and it was all like rice and salmon and
No.
vegetables and fruit.
I don't
do that
man
anymore.
Your size, not to say you're large in any way, but you're a physical human and you do a lot. I don't think you could survive on 1,100.
No, it was crazy. I got
No.
down to like because it was like a cutting weight for boxing thing,
Oh,
right?
I
So that was
see.
the whole thing. Hey, listen, I got thoughts on the Oilers. Are we doing that now?
We
Just-
are.
all
but
right.
This
Have
is
for
the
lunch
intro
today
portion of the
before
show.
we get
You
to
may
that.
not be familiar with it as you don't.
I know.
listen.
I have 3 thoughts that are jumping out at me.
Okay.
I'll
well,
get to them
will,
later.
Will you allow me to do the show, or
Yes.
did you want to just
No.
take over the show?
No.
It's
No,
really
no.
your choice, however you want to do it.
I would like you to do it.
Okay. All right. I have some thoughts on the Oilers, and then Declan is bursting to share his thoughts on the Oilers. I wrote about it in The Athletic today, and one of the things that has happened to these Edmonton Oilers is there's been a slight change. We knew it was coming. We saw it come over the summertime. Matt Savoy, there was space cleared for him to emerge as an everyday player. And the same thing, not necessarily for sure, but the same opportunity was offered to young Ike Howard. Now, Howard is in the minor leagues, and I don't know if he'll be back soon, but he's a player that they obviously have some import on. And a year ago, Chris Knobloch had veterans like Corey Perry and others who could actually go and do things without the top 2 centers in McDavid and Draisaitl. And what I did in my Athletic article today is I just really shifted down and wondered what was happening this year, because Knobloch is trying something different. Here's what he's doing based on Puck IQ's numbers in regard to elite prospects. With elite opposition. With elite opposition, maybe 2 years ago, the Edmonton Oilers were playing McDavid and Draisaitl about, I don't know, 58% of the time against elites. Then it was 64, and this year it's 66. And McDavid's numbers have gone up from like 20 to 22 to 29. Leon's 18 to 22 to 26 this year. The third and fourth lines are playing the soft parade and the mid-level players more, and they're not getting good results. And the results are truly damning. The fall this year has been massive. The depth lines in 24-25 scored 48 goals, allowed 53 for a 48% goal share. This year, the third and fourth lines are running at a 30% goal share, 24, 23-4, and 54 against. The 74-75 Washington Capitals, a strong candidate for the worst NHL team ever assembled, at an even strength goal percentage of 27. The Oilers' third and fourth lines this year are at 30%. This is below expansion level and is not getting better. Now, here's the kicker on the article today. Make sure you go read it. Guys like Josh Szymanski and Curtis Lazar are moving ahead of Andrew Mangiapane and Matthias Janmark and Trent Frederick. At some point in time, one of those veterans is either going to have to be dealt away or benched for the rest of the season. When Josh Szymanski, who's never played in the NHL, comes up and looks better than Andrew Mangiapane, then you have a problem. And it's a Chris Knobloch problem, but it's also a Stan Bowman problem. The Edmonton Oilers right now are a team that badly needs secondary scoring, and they're not getting it. On defense, I think it's a matter of making sure Wallman is healthy. I'm not as concerned about the defense and the goaltending. I mean, in all honesty, what Tristan Jarry said is true. The Oilers are not a strong defensive team. Their defense is based on not playing any. Move the puck out, get it tape to tape, and get into the offensive zone, and then you just don't play defense very often. That's been a problem this year. Knobloch's issue has been, I think, that he doesn't allow the outlets so much. He wants that stretch pass, and it doesn't work with a Tinker's Dam. Oilers have some problems, no doubt. And I do think that the waiving today of Calvin Pickard is the tip of the iceberg here in what they're going to do. We may see a trade or a move here in the next couple of days, and maybe it's already happened. The Edmonton Oilers are not competitive with Minnesota, not competitive with Colorado, not competitive with Dallas. So they might get out of the Pacific, but there's no way in HE double hockey sticks they're getting out of the Central Division or into the final as they are currently constructed. Now, we move to Declan and his 3 things that he would like to talk about.
Well, he kind of stole a lot of my points.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Which, I guess makes sense with you. Kind of parallel thought. as they call it, right?
Yeah.
My three
By
biggest
the way,
takeaways.
all my stuff is in the article at The Athletic if you want to read it.
And obviously, I want to bounce this off you guys. I want to get your thoughts on this as well. And of course, the listeners. But my three biggest takeaways, the first one, you echoed right there at the end of your last sentiment. Like, I don't know how you look at what Colorado and Dallas and Minnesota are doing and think Edmonton can be a team that's going to get out of the Western Conference. Like, yes, there's the counterpoint to that is always that the Central is going to cannibalize themselves in the first and the second rounds, and it's going to be a really tough series, and they're going to beat each other up. But I don't know how you look at what you've seen from these teams. I don't know how you look at the prospects of the games we've seen and think the Edmonton Oilers are going to get out of the Western Conference. Like, I just don't see. And Dallas is the most favorable matchup, I think, because they've had their number the past couple of years. But all in all, like, I just think that it is so top heavy over there. And the Pacific, like Edmonton, one thing I think that also might not get talked about as much is, like, you kind of need to get pushed in the playoffs to prove your mettle. And I don't know if Edmonton's going to get that in the first round against whatever the wild card team is going to be, and then against Vegas, with all respect to how Vegas is playing. So I worry about Edmonton on a grand scale in the playoffs against one of those teams from the Central. I actually thought the game was a little bit more competitive than the final score indicated for
First
most of
period
it.
was,
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
even into the second, like, I thought it was competitive for good stretches. In Edmonton, like, when they would get hit, they would hit back, things like that. Jack Roslovich, by the way, he's a silky player. Like, I really like Jack Roslovich's game. I got to get clips for the Gregor show intro. I think I'm going to get Roslovich's goal because he's a silky player. I like him. And he had that second one where he walked in a little bit nifty, little McDavid kind of move off the post. The second overall point I kind of wanted to get to, I think Connor Ingram's the number one. I don't know where you guys come out on that, but watching the game and, like, Jari, I don't know. The goal off the draw, tough. Quinn Hughes' goal, tough. Who had the other one? Was it Tarasenko? Like, I didn't love that one. It's just, those kind of goals are the ones that we flamed and threw Stuart Skinner under the bus for. And I feel like Jari maybe gets a little bit more of a pass because he's a recent addition. But it's just things like this when I watch him play versus when I watch Connor Ingram play, I come away thinking Connor Ingram feels like the number one. And then the third one, and this is one that's probably going to be a little bit more divisive. Again, want to get your guys' take on this. Like, I don't know. Am I back out on Bush defensively? I don't know, because I love Bush as a player. And I didn't actually realize how much I liked Bush as a player until someone tried to tell me how good he was. And I was like, no. Like, I know how good Bush is. But then you see the defensive lapse in coverage on X goal, where he's just completely behind the defenseman, walks in. Again, nice little move on the breakaway. Don't really blame Jari for that. Then you, like, the way Brock Faber dog walked him, like it was 11:30 at a beer league game. And I know the game was kind of over. It was 6-3 at that point, but it was just so pitiful defensively. And, like, I like Bush's game, and he's so good offensively, but you see these big gaping errors in these high profile moments. And again, if you want to call a 6-3 game a high profile, if you don't want to call a 6-3 a goal, the seventh goal in a 6-3 game a high profile moment, I can agree with that, sure. But it's just like, man, it just leaves you hitting yourself in the knee over and over again. So those are my three takeaways.
Josh, what were your takes?
I disagree with you about the Tarasenko goal. I think that one's okay to just be like, yeah, man, it's Tarasenko. He's going to make a goal every now and then, especially like if you have some bad positioning, but it probably goes in anyways. That's how good Tarasenko is.
Bit of a snipe. I don't know, man. Like, it was such a bad angle. Like, I just feel it, like, okay, if we're doing the whole goal saved above expected thing, like, I guess I can understand not being mad at him for it. But my thing is also, like, I wouldn't mind my goalie bailing us out in that situation. Like,
I absolutely see where you're coming from. He definitely had two more that he should have had but didn't. But like the Tarasenko goal, I think I'm willing to give him a pass on.
One thing we can agree on, it doesn't matter. Stuart Skinner will be buried Tristan Jarry will be buried by fans by this time next year, the same way Stuart Skinner was. I don't have any doubt of that.
So will Connor Ingram. Let's be honest here. Unless they win,
win
the Stanley Cup this year, both
I've been watching this since
buried.
Grant Fuhrer. Oiler fans don't like goaltenders.
They need a scapegoat.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. So you think if they don't win the Stanley Cup by this time next year, both will be buried?
No, I don't.
I think it'll be the same thing.
I don't think the Oilers are going to win the Stanley Cup, and I think that Edmonton Oiler fans blame goalies and because there's plays like that Evan Bouchard play. It's easy to say, man, they're so bad in coverage, but then people forget, and they forget about the 3-on-2s and the 2-on-1s and the breakaways that these goalies have to face. The Oilers, their attitude toward defense is we're not going to play it. We're just going to get the puck out quickly. And on plays we don't make that end up being on 2-on-1s, we got to have the goalie stop enough of them. And that's a tough job for any goaltender. And it happens time and time again. And Oiler fans tend to turn on the goalie as opposed to the coach or management.
Yeah, I mean, I think this year we've seen quite a few people turn on the coach as is, especially in that stretch from obviously the start of the season to mid-November or whatever it was. People by the end were calling for Knobloch's head, and they turn it around in December, mostly due to your clip saying Connor McDavid falls out of his
which
prime.
I still have not gotten full credit for.
I like the day
you've done your best.
The
You've
day
done
we
your best.
posted that is the day that he started his point streak.
No.
And
People
so-
misunderstood that too. I never
Still
said
a good
what-
player.
Yeah, sure.
Lowetide, I'm actually on your side on that one.
Yeah.
It was misinterpreted. You weren't. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But I knew it was going to do numbies, so I put it up anyways.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I don't think Bush obviously gets blamed enough in this city, but he'll also be able to get the benefit of the doubt because he is so good offensively and shows up in the playoffs.
But he is what he is. He's not. You can't be surprised by him. He's
No,
a great
and at this point,
puck
he
mover.
is who he is. It's not gonna change. He's not gonna wake up tomorrow and be like, "My God, guys, I watched some Kel McCarr highlights. I think I'm ready to try some things," and just locks in defensively. It's not the way it's gonna go. And so what the Oilers need to do is start playing to their competition, because I seriously think they have a real problem with that.
They need a third and fourth line. They don't have it yet, and that's why the coach is under fire. He's finally got the top two lines going. I think Wallman and Nurse can be a good pairing if Wallman stays healthy. The third pair, a little shaky, although I like Emberson's game and I like Stastny too. They got to play together more. Third and fourth lines are the issue here. I actually don't have a lot of concern about the goaltending, and I agree with you on Connor Ingram. Declan, I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't really have much of a point. The only thing I was going to say is Josh made the point of they need to play to their. I don't think they're good enough to play to the upper echelon level of competition. And that's, again, not necessarily a knock on the Oilers. Like I think they're a good team. I think they're probably going to be a Western Conference Finals team. But I just think there's kind of a tier above that right now with those three teams in the Central. And sometimes that happens. It's not necessarily a knock on Edmonton. I just don't think they're good enough to play with those teams right now.
I think that everybody listening probably agrees with you based on what we've seen Edmonton do against those teams.
I started thinking about Mahomes Mountain like Nick Wright does. I swear this comes back around. And I was thinking about it. I was like, okay, who would be the mountain right now that the Oilers are under? The whole Central Division playoffs right now. They're under the Avs, who are clearly number one, and then the Wild and the Stars, who they don't really have a sniff on. They're 0-3 against the Wild this year, and they've been lit up by both the Avs and then who else in the East? They're probably below the Lightning at this point.
It's hard to know. I still think Carolina gets
Vasilevsky
underrated.
is so good.
Carolina gets underrated by everybody.
Carolina, I would probably put Carolina up there, although
I
they
would
have
too.
the same shaky goaltending situation.
They got a guy now.
Yeah, but then it's like the Oilers. They should be able to hang with those guys because they have two of the four best players on the planet.
Yep.
And they literally can't.
Here are my. We have to take a break and then we'll talk a little bit more about this. But here are my points to make. Tristan Jarry deserves a full chance. This is way too small a sample size. I know people will be out in front of it and hate him by Valentine's Day, but I encourage you not to. Be one of the outliers who gives Tristan Jarry a full chance, because I think he's earned that. When we talk about Jack Roslovic being the real deal, away from McDavid and Leon Draisaitl at 5-on-5, he is a 40% scorer, so outscorer. So that's not really happening. I like him as a winger. I like him as a winger on a skill line, but I still think, and I hate to say it, but I still think the number 3 center on this team, when everything's cracking right, will be Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Finally, McDavid and Draisaitl together, 52%. McDavid alone, 52%. This is all 5-on-5. Leon alone, 57%. The fourth line and the third line, without any of those cats, 35%, and that's with a very strong January. We need not look past the third and fourth lines. If Stan Bowman wants a Stanley Cup in Edmonton, if Chris Knobloch wants to be the coach here in the next 5 years, for the next 5 years, fix the third and fourth line. And right now, I'm telling you, and you can read it on the Athletic article, the guys who are doing the hard work and getting stuff done are like small sample sizes, like Josh Szymanski and Curtis Lazar, who's coming on. The guys they paid the money to and are counting on are failing miserably, and that has to end. And we'll see. We'll talk about Calvin Pickard. We'll talk about the Super Bowl and what you're going to be eating, and we'll check with these guys and see if they still think it's Seattle to win the Super Bowl. That's all straight ahead. We have a very busy show. We've got Rachel Krychak at 12:40. Jason Gregor will join us at 1:20, and I'm assuming Declan CAA Declan Nations is Mama MMA. Is that fair?
Oh, I certainly think so.
Yeah.
To talk about
All right. Sounds good. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Hear ye, hear ye. Dragon fruit has returned to booster juice. Prepare thyself for the legendary alchemy of the Dragon Slayer smoothie. Pink Dragon.
Getting underway. 86 Mountain on Sportsnet. CC and Simmer. We'll have the call with our colleague Gene Principe. In front, sets up Roslovic. And the Oilers cut to 6-3. Roslovic's 15th. What does he do? He goes to the net. Face. McDavid, the outlet to Bouchard. Hyman collided with the linesman as well as Middleton. That was spooned back near the blue line, grabbed by Bouchard. On to McDavid. In front. Home. Nugent Hopkins gets a bounce. And he needed it. 2-1 Edmonton. Great chance of. Kutcher off a shot. And it's stopped by Swayman. And now he goes after somebody out in front. That's Hagel in front of the net again. Swayman is hot. Vasilevsky's coming out across here we go. Ice. Swayman and Vasilevsky may go. Swayman tells Vasilevsky, take your mask off, and he obliges. This is crazy. Oh. Alcaraz conquers Australia. 6-2, 6-3, 7-5.
And in doing so, makes history down under as the youngest career Grand Slam winner of all time.
Breaking down the fine art of sports, one rep at a time. The Lowdown with Lowetide. Thanks for checking out Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Family owned, community driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. It's 12:23. I'm so happy winter is over. We've got the blue skies and the sunshine, and massive melting. I've run out of windshield wiper fluid. Declan, when you're driving around and you run out, do you have some like in the back? Are you ready to go? Are you one of those people?
No,
Me either.
I'm woefully underprepared.
No,
Unprepared even.
I've actually had to resort to pulling over to the side of the road and putting snow on the window so I could get to a gas station to buy. And I always say to myself, man, you got to be more prepared. You're an adult. You're old. You should know this stuff. And
you
yet
was
I
like,
don't.
you should probably get a flare gun in there. Honestly. You know what else I think? I think I should be driving around with a jerry can, like just in case.
Oh, I have that.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
There you
No,
go.
I ran out of gas. How many times have you run out of gas?
Never in my
Oh,
life, if you can actually
yeah.
believe that.
No, I'm a gas runner outer, man. I just am. I also have blankets and
I'm also
a little bit of sand.
like, I very, very rarely, blankets is a huge one. I very, very rarely fill my tank up all the way.
Why
Like
is that?
I $20 every time I'm there.
Oh, so you just don't feel like spending the dough?
Well, it's weird because it's like it's only an extra $20, right? But it's a thing where I just like $20 every time. Get it to half a tank.
That's
No, it's terrible. Like,
it
it's
reminds
dumb.
me of my youth, and it makes me remember good times.
Every now and then, like if I'm feeling real
Well, you're
generous, I'll
splurging,
splurge on my
Win the
full tank of
lottery,
gas.
right?
Yeah,
I get that. Rumors brought to you by Great Canadian Solar. Great Canadian Solar has been helping homeowners and businesses harness the power of the sun for 15 years. Invest in solar and yourself. GreatCanadianSolar.com. All right, a few things. The Edmonton Oilers waived Calvin Pickard yesterday. He is cleared today, so he would be assigned or something like that. I doubt he leaves the city, certainly before the end of the Olympics. The Flames did the same thing with Justin Kirkland. He has cleared. Both men are still members of their team. The Oilers have done a little bit of work here today. They have signed Atro Leppanen to a two-way extension. He's an interesting player, really exposed early defensively in the AHL, but he's tightened it up a lot in the last few weeks, and then he got hurt. So this is a two-way deal, $850K salary in the NHL for 26-27, $360K minor salary, $400K guaranteed. That's good. So it feels as though they want him for the long haul. They like what they see, but they're not willing to commit to him at the NHL level yet. And interestingly, and perhaps more importantly in this scenario, Leppanen feels the same way. So that's good news. Very positive there. Barry Trotz is going to step down as general manager of the Nashville Predators. He came to fame as a terrific coach for Nashville over many years. And then he moved into the GM's chair a few years ago, and he has decided that he will retire. Now, he's going to remain on through the deadline and possibly beyond as they're looking for a replacement. If you had to choose among the staff and personnel in this building, and will include not just Sports 1440, but the entire building, all the radio stations and everybody, who would you choose to be a general manager of an NHL team?
NHL specifically?
Yes. Now, you can't call yourself
I was gonna
GM
pick,
of the NBA.
I was going to pick myself for an NBA team. I would honestly pick Josh for an NBA team too. NHL, I think I got to go with Sean Brown.
That's not a bad idea.
That's
I
a good
like that.
shout.
That's a really good take. And
honestly, Greg's too.
They both look good in suits.
Yep.
Brown has the NHL player card, right, which sometimes matters to owners. So maybe they could do have an arm wrestle or something, and we could come to a conclusion and then start promoting that.
For this, are we only counting people that come in the studio, or are we?
No, anybody at all.
We're going to count like our regulars that we have
Terry
on
Evans
the show.
could be, anybody you want.
Terry Evans, okay.
Yeah.
No, definitely not Terry Evans. No disrespect, Terry.
It sounded like there was a little disrespect there. Who on the phone line would you recommend?
Who on the phone line? Like if we were just picking from regulars that we had on the show, like Rupper, also former NHLer, but like
Rachel Krychak has NHL management.
Rachel
experience.
Krychak would actually also be a great shout. She's worked in NHL front offices before. But I like the Sean Brown pick. There's something about Brownie where you're just like, you can put that guy in front of a mic and have a press conference even after he's dropped the ball.
Yeah.
If he drops the ball, he's a smart guy.
And the elevator goes all the way up. He's a smart guy.
Yeah. And you look at him and go, I have full confidence in what he's doing.
All right, not to go other side of the coin. Who's the last one here to get the call?
Sam?
Oh, no, he doesn't even work here. This is picking on Sam.
Sorry,
now.
my bad. Me.
No, I mean, I
We'd
mean,
both be low.
I'm
We'd both be
definitely
low.
lower than you.
I feel like there's about a 60-person tie for last.
That's fair.
You know,
Yeah.
like if there's 60 people, Mackenzie's 59th, and the three of us and a bunch of other guys are.
No,
60.
you're definitely higher than us.
No,
You're in that Dello camp.
No, now that's the problem. Is people think I know math. I don't.
You're in the Dello camp. Sorry.
I just know
you're in the
natural.
Dello camp.
I know where natural stat trick is. So maybe I'm like,
That's I'm sure natural stat trick plays a little bit of a part in his job, but also he has a whole analytics department.
Yeah.
You just have to run the analytics department.
I see. Jason Kidd fined $35,000 for criticizing officials. Hothead, right? Like a real, guy you can't count on and could, be in the stands every five. Kind of the Derek Sanderson of the NBA.
Jason Kidd, like whatever. If him getting fined for that is like, I'd say Jason Kidd could probably be fined like every other week for something he does. When he was head coaching the Nets, he got his player to bump into him while he had a glass of water so that they could spill it on the court because he didn't have any more timeouts. So he got his player to bump into him at stoppage of play so they could clean the court and they could have an unofficial timeout, essentially.
He's one of the highest IQ players ever, though.
Oh,
by the
yeah.
way.
But he was a hothead as a player, too.
Not as much.
He was
disgusting as a player. He'd lick his hand
He
before he
was
shot
so- he
his
was so
free
good.
throw.
I think he's one of the most underrated players ever.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you don't get that high in assists.
The Warriors are making the strongest pitch that we know of so far for Giannis. Are you surprised? Are you excited? Or are you depressed?
I don't know what could be super strong about their offer. Jonathan
Well, they got a
Kuminga-
lot of picks. They got all their
Kuminga-
picks.
Yeah. And so I guess like we talked about this last week. You blow it up and you get one more championship in the Steph Curry era.
Worth it.
You're good for 5 years or whatever.
Dude, I think you're
okay
good
those
for like
5.
15.
You think so?
Dude, 5 championships in LeBron's era.
Yeah.
I think you're
that's-
good for like
that's
15
fair.
years.
I just Jimmy Butler, Jonathan Kuminga, and like 5 first-round picks because Jimmy Butler's injured.
They told Jimmy they wouldn't trade him, but Jimmy would make a lot more sense than Draymond.
But
because
they
he
also
is injured.
lie. Executives lie. They just
Well,
lie all the time.
Here's the other thing. Mike Dunleavy, who's their GM, he was teammates with Jimmy back in Chicago. Like, there's a little bit of loyalty there for him. He gave him $120 million over 2 years.
That's more than loyalty.
Yeah.
That's
dumb.
NFL, Clint Kubiak intends to become the Raiders head coach. Good, bad, and different.
I'm interested. It's good with Ashton Genty because he's the play caller for the Seahawks, right? And he loves running the ball. JSN to have the season that he did when they were running, I think they were doing run plays like 45% of the time or something like that. Like they were a very high usage run team. So I think he's excited to have Ashton Genty back there. What really needs to get shored up is that O-line. But all things considered, I think it's going to be okay. This offense, the Seahawks offense, as we've seen in the last, 6 weeks or so, really can like explode, especially with the help of their defense. But I like the hire.
I always wondered where Declan would, his next job or where he'd end up. And I discovered it just maybe a few hours ago when finding out the NFL ESPN deal approved by government regulators. That's going to be a big old concern over the next 25 years. So when are you hired by NFL ESPN, Declan?
Well, hopefully sooner than later, right?
Yeah.
$1
billion acquisition.
No, I don't. I wouldn't even know what to do with all that.
No, but that's the deal that they just made, not the deal for you. Deal for you might be a little less than the sale price.
I'm a little vain, aren't I? Thinking that was about me. It'd be awesome. It would be awesome.
You're not vain, you're just confident, and there's a difference.
I'm probably both.
Worth $1 billion? Sure thing, man.
Perplexed Oilers fan, that Oilers Penguins trade made me sick right from the start. I don't know that I buy that. I mean, maybe from you personally, but if we start getting texts like that, I'm going to call people on it because I sat here and defended Stuart Skinner for a long time. And I said, it's everybody blames the goalie, but this team does not play consistent defense and they want to move the puck out. When they start defending, it either ends up in a penalty in the back of the net or the goalie makes a great save. And the amount of vitriol towards Stuart Skinner where I had to unfollow people I really genuinely like because it was unacceptable, beyond the pale, and simply in bad form. And that happened. And I will bet you dollars to donuts, which is I think 12 to 5 now. I will bet you dollars to donuts that a year from now, I'm saying, Tristan Jarry isn't that bad, guys. This team plays defense wonky. But people don't, they see goals go in. It's like the Bouchard play the other night, which was terrible. But you've got to factor in all the good things that he does. And sometimes I think with Bouchard, it's a teetering moment, but he signed long-term and people buy in and he's done some great thing in the playoffs. Edmonton's goalies will never be popular. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be Edmonton Oilers goaltenders. Ask to be traded the day they draft you, and you'll be okay. Now we want Skinner. I love this fan base. He got us 2 cup finals for no salary. Well, in fairness to Jarry there, this is a different version of the Edmonton Oilers. But, man, people were running their mouths about Stuart Skinner and how awful he was. And, look, I'm not saying that Dominik Hasek in 1999 wouldn't bring a Stanley Cup here. But the getting a good goalie off the tree is not an easy thing to do. And as well as the young man for the Minnesota Wild played on Saturday, you bring him here, and he's going to have his own problems because they play defense differently in Minnesota than they do in Edmonton. And that's never going to change. Did we watch the curling?
I watched the last 3 ends of the curling.
I watched that whole match. I was over at Bob and Sophie's house, and we had fantastic food. I did have a drink. It's very nice.
Crown and ginger ale?
No.
Nice glass of wine for the tannins?
No, we went a little different. We went bourbon.
Ooh.
Straight bourbon.
Oh.
Very nice. Very nice. I mean,
What kind? Buffalo?
No, it's the Costco brand.
Oh.
It's very good.
Yeah. I think it was the same as Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
Just for everyone out there.
But I really enjoyed the curling and that shot in the 10th round, the 10th end that made it go to the 11th. That was that's an all-timer. That should be on the highlight package they run for the Scotties.
It should, but it won't be because it looks like such a ho-hum shot for Carrie Einerson. She throws it and she throws it perfectly. To hit it, first of all, without clipping or anything is something everyone could do. Or everyone in the Scotties could do.
The weight was perfect.
But the weight was perfect.
Yeah.
And she hit it at the exact right spot of the rock and it stuck. And then they get the one. And then, that's sort of changed the momentum. And she's just cold as ice doing it. No smile, no nothing. She's just like, all right, on to the 11th. We get one.
I was a little I would have been fine with either team winning because I thought they both are champions. But I was Holman should be there. They got to change the way they play the Scotties in Olympic years.
They're not changing now. Obviously, you want the actual Team Canada there and Rachel Holman because obviously she won last year. But Einerson, so dominant, that's good. I feel awful for Caitlin Loss.
Yeah, it's too bad.
This happens every year. She dominates in the round robin, and then she gets to someone like Einerson who's ever so slightly better. Ever so slightly.
That's a good way of putting it.
Shows up
really
and makes the shots.
Yeah.
And Caitlin Laws every year just crumbles at the end. And I'm not saying that that shot that she had in the 11th to try and win it was easy, but every year it was just so unfortunate. I would have liked to seen her last rock thrown as her first shot because I don't know. Even looking at it on the screen was this is going to be tough. You're trying to do what Einerson just did, but you're throwing an extra rock into the mix, and that is so incredibly difficult. So I would have liked to seen it first. It rolls out a bit, and then either you can hit and stick, or you have backing to draw to, or anything like that. But it's just the way it goes.
All right. On the way, Rachel Krychak. We're going to talk about the Oilers. We're going to talk about that outdoor game. And Calvin Pickard, where is he headed? Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Ooh, girl, the way you touch that thermostat, it really turns me on. Like a heat exchanger, sensual phenomenon. Wanna play your favorite song when we turn the heat on like a legacy of love.
Legacy Heating and Cooling keeps your Valentine sizzling hot. You can afford to shower your Valentine with affection because Legacy offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. And that's how you build your legacy of love. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
These days, it's all about who you know. And that's why it's the perfect time to save at the Bricks Friends and Family Sale. Upgrade your living room in time for the big game and score free delivery on TVs over 50 inches, like a Samsung 85-inch 4K Smart TV for just $9.99. And save up to $1,200 off sofas and sectionals. And mix and match and save up to $1,000 off 2 or more major appliances. Some exclusions apply. Check out the Brick in Edmonton South Common, West Edmonton Mall, North Side on 137th, and downtown near the Ice District.
Do you listen to sports radio at work? Like right now? Well, do you?
Who, me? No way. I swear.
Okay, friend, we won't tell. Tens of thousands of sports fans listen to Sports 1440 each and every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. If you listen to Sports 1440 at work, well, maybe it's time to advertise on Sports 1440 at work. Grow your business. Get your name out there. Shoot our ad team an email. Gregor@sports1440.ca. Let's get to work for you.
These days, it's all about who you know. And that's why it's the perfect time to save at the Bricks Friends and Family Sale. Upgrade your living room in time for the big game and score free delivery on TVs over 50 inches, like a Samsung 85-inch 4K Smart TV for just $9.99. And save up to $1,200 off sofas and sectionals. And mix and match. Save up to $1,000 off 2 or more major appliances. Some exclusions apply. Check out the Brick in Edmonton South Common, West Edmonton Mall, North Side on 137th, and downtown near the Ice District.
From the locker room to your radio, Sports 1440 is Edmonton's sports leader. Real talk, big personalities, and your texts. It's interactive. It's fun. It's where Edmonton talks sports. Sports 1440. Smart, connected, community driven. Jason Krueger sets the standard for sports talk in Edmonton. Join the conversation on Sports 1440. Text Krueger 833-401-1440. Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports. Breaking down the fine art of sports, one rep at a time. The Lowdown with Lowetide. Thanks for checking out Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. Joined now by Rachel Krychak. Rachel, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Lowetide?
I'm good. I was waiting pins and needles at the start of the show to find out if Calvin Pickard cleared waivers. He did. And so now they've got, 3 goalies. They'll have to, if they're going to make a move or recall or whatever, they'll have to make a move with Pickard probably. But with the timing of the Olympics and they're just close to that, roster freeze, I think they probably just keep him here, right? Like as opposed to sending him to Bakersfield.
I think if it saves you money on the cap, you probably send him to Bakersfield, but I wouldn't do that. And kind of thing. Tuesday's game. I know they play the Toronto Maple Leafs tomorrow night. So I think I'd probably just be safe there. But then you want to accrue matters. So I would probably send him down. There's not a risk now that you're going to lose him. He's cleared waivers. So yeah, that's probably where I would go with that. I could also see a scenario where Calvin Pickard, maybe not now, but towards the end of the season, maybe he kind of slides into a new development role with the Edmonton Oilers. He's been a valuable soldier for them. They clearly like him. He's very much in the back nine of his career. And I think that's probably somebody who the players seem to speak very highly of. And maybe he would be a benefit to the younger goaltenders in the organization.
I think that's very fair, and he's nice insurance in case they do get injury. Now that he's cleared waivers, you suggested Edmonton pursue Bobby McMahon on this show, mid-January, maybe 2 weeks ago. Now that rumor is all the rage. My question is, because I want to know your opinion. I'm reading a lot of people who are pretty smart giving out outrageous asks and what it would cost to get McMahon here. What significant assets do you think the Oilers would have to give up in order to wrestle McMahon from other NHL teams interested in acquiring him?
Yeah, so I think it's instructive to start at similar players and where Bobby McMahon ranks among them, as well as what's available. There are so many teams that are still in it and aren't going to be willing to trade pieces. And let's be very real. Bobby McMahon is a better hockey player than Kiefer Sherwood is, and Kiefer Sherwood got 2 seconds and a warm body. But there was a point where Kiefer Sherwood potentially could have gone for a first-round pick. I do think Bobby McMahon is worth it for a first-round pick, especially if his salary is retained on. But here's kind of what I'm looking at. And I'm going to start with, I don't think this player works because this player style, but this is exactly the type of player that the Leafs should be going after.
We're going to get you
and
on
that's
phone.
Matthew Savoy.
Yeah, we're going to get her
Okay.
on phone. Yeah, because we're having I don't know whether it's the Sun or whatever the case may be. I really want her answer on that on Bobby McMahon, so I'm going to reset that. One of the key areas, if you're looking to acquire a player, the Oilers need a speed guy and a big guy and a guy who can score, and he's got all of that. So he is ideal. When we last left Rachel, she was talking about, she thinks he's worth a first round pick, and there's a lot of teams that probably aren't interested in trading. Let me know when you have her back, and we'll have her on basically answering the question about Bobby McMahon, because I think that's the ideal one right now for the Edmonton Oilers that I've heard of. I haven't heard anybody else. Maybe there's some way they can make a deal with St. Louis to his person. Okay, so let's reset that. Last time when you talked to you, we were talking about McMahon, what he would cost. You thought he was worth a first-round pick, but there's also the matter of some teams aren't going to be willing to trade players, and maybe McMahon would be one of the few out there.
Yeah, exactly. And so what I would say is you have to look at similar players, and Kiefer Sherwood is somebody that plays a similar style to Bobby McMahon, but Bobby McMahon has a better track record and is a better, bigger hockey player than Kiefer Sherwood. And that's 2 seconds and a warm AHL body. And there was a point where it was thought that Kiefer Sherwood could go first. And for a first-round pick, I'm sorry. And then you look at like Evander Kane's available. Well, Bobby McMahon is better than Evander Kane and also doesn't come with all of the dressing room problems that Evander Kane comes with. So I look at Bobby McMahon right now. Obviously, he's behind the Artemi Panarin. That guy is the best guy available, and it's not particularly close. But I do think a first-round pick is on the table. And what I was saying was, I'm not sure this player specifically fits if Craig Berube and Brad Treliving are building the team, but I do think it's somebody that the Leafs should go after, and it's Matthew Savoy. He's somebody who's going to lose his spot in the lineup if they trade for Bobby McMahon, because Bobby McMahon could play in the top 6, and Matthew Savoy is really not a bottom 6 player. So I think that there is some sort of match there. I also think somebody like Vasily Podkolzin could be of value and could get that trade done. But barring that, I think you're probably looking at a first-round pick. The other thing that I think could be curious is Andrew Mangiapane. I think there's a scenario where Matias Maccelli of the Toronto Maple Leafs brings something that's a little bit better offensively than Mangiapane does. And he's expiring after this year. He becomes an RFA, whereas Mangiapane has one more year left. Brad Treliving has that familiarity. Mangiapane is from Toronto. So I do wonder if there's maybe like a $3-ish million swap to be had there that allows Edmonton to get out from underneath it. So maybe it's a little bit of a bigger trade, but from a Bobby McMahon perspective, you're talking about acquiring a guy who can essentially be a top 6 scoring big body presence who would be one of the fastest players on the team. That isn't insignificant in terms of cost.
That would sort of be, and I'm stretching here, but sort of like a Trent Frederick reset.
Yes, I guess. Although I don't think Trent Frederick should ever have been considered a top 6 player.
That's fair. Oilers, I think they've shown they are going to have a hard time against Minnesota or Colorado or even Dallas if they get to the semifinals. This is a different Central this year. Not that they're easy any year, but we saw Minnesota on Saturday, and they are a wagon. Colorado, we know about. They're not the 76-77 Montreal Canadiens, but they're in the neighborhood. Is there a way management and coaching can fix this, or does this look like a year where the Oilers are going to finish a little bit shy of making it to the final as they did the last 2 years?
I think there's always a possibility, and we know that the playoffs are wacky, right? And in the Central Division, that's going to be a gauntlet. By the time the Oilers face a team from the Central Division, they're only going to have to do it once, unless I can't see Minnesota falling into the wild card. They will have played 2 very tough series, and they're going to be beat up. I do actually see a scenario where the Oilers can beat the Wild, and that's because the center depth on the Wild is less than 0. They have Joel Eriksson Ek, and that's it. And I don't think that holds up for a 7-game series against Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. But whoever comes out of the Central is going to be really beat up, because those are going to be 2 tough playoff series that they are going to have to play. And that's really tough. So I think Edmonton might get lucky there. And because you have McDavid and Draisaitl, you always have a chance. But I don't think it's worth banking on that Edmonton's going to go to 3 straight finals. I think that that's probably a little bit more different. And they could use some depth, some rugged players, and they could use some goaltending too.
Speaking of, Rachel Krychak, our guest on Sports 1440 and the Lowdown with Lowetide from Betalytics. Oiler fans are turning on Tristan Jarry, who talked about, frankly, about Edmonton's defensive structure on the weekend. I wonder if Jarry already is a little bit in danger of becoming Stuart Skinner 2.0, because the bad vibes and the anxiety are I don't think Oiler fans are past that. So I'll ask that question. Do you think that this is a situation that could turn in a hurry? And then secondly, does Connor Ingram have a chance to grab that number 1 spot?
I do think that the situation has a chance to turn in a hurry. And I think that because of the public comments made, Tristan Jarry has had moments of brilliant play in his career, and he's had moments of unplayable play. And so did Stuart Skinner. And I don't think it's necessarily an accident that Stuart Skinner went to Pittsburgh, like a little bit more staunch defensively, and out of the heat that is a Canadian market, and immediately started to thrive. I think there's something to that. I think it takes a very special, let's call it what it is. It takes a very special individual to play goal on a very good team in a Canadian market. Carey Price. I honestly think the last reliable goaltender the Leafs had was Ed Belfour, and that was when I was a child. You have Thatcher Demko, Jacob Markstrom in Vancouver, Mika Kiprusoff in Calgary, Connor Hellebuck in Winnipeg. It's really tough to play goal. So I do wonder about Tristan Jarry's fitness for that. I do think Connor Ingram could go on a run here. I think the best case scenario, though, is you have a 1A, 1B. Both goaltenders feel pretty good about themselves heading into the playoffs, because you're going to need both of them. There's no you see Saros peeking around the corner that's going to be able to rescue the Oilers.
Well, one thing certain, it worked out for Justin Schultz to go to Pittsburgh, and it could well for Stuart Skinner. What did you think of the stylish outdoor game? Coaches looking like they're straight out of Dick Tracy. A goalie fight. Bruins blew it. What did you think of that game?
For me, outside of the original Buffalo-Pittsburgh outdoor game, which felt like it was multiple decades at this point, I think 20 years ago, that might have been the best outdoor game there was from start to finish. I think both teams really bought into the theme. I really would have liked if the Tampa Bay Lightning showed up instead of as Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They showed up as like Pirates of the Caribbean. I think that would have been really funny. I liked that the Bruins showed up as Patriots, given what's happening with the Patriots this coming weekend. And then you look at the game, like we had a goal 11 seconds in. We had a 5-1 lead blown. We had a goalie fight, which was awesome. And then whatever happened with the officiating in overtime where the referee's whistle broke, which is a really funny parable for just generally what happens in overtime with officials. I just thought it was overall like really well done. I thought that the NHL did a great job of decorating that outside ice situation. I thought that ESPN really did a great job buying in with the Pirates desk, and Mark Messier and PK Subban and Steve Levy really buying in with everything that they did. They leveraged the Mickey Mouse, and that's what you need to do if you're the NHL. So from that perspective, really impressed. Then they got a game that was also really impressive, and it kind of felt like the hockey gods were smiling down because they also got the weather to go with it. And so overall, certainly one of the most enjoyable games I've remembered outside, and just a really job well done to everybody involved, including the teams. And God bless John Cooper. I hope that man accepts his Jack Adams Award in an outfit like that.
He looked cool. I got to say, he looked like, he looked like he could fit the part. He could walk down Main looking like that. Final one, Pickard clears now. Oilers obviously, have room now to make some kind of move if they want to. Do you think we'll see a lot of activity? I mean, the deadline for the Olympics, the freeze is coming right up here. It'd have to happen like in the hours to come. Do you think we'll see anything?
I don't think we'll see anything big, and kind of here's my thought on that. Owners and GMs and whomever are not going to be all that thrilled with having to pay an extra 2 weeks of player salary for a guy who isn't going to play for them over the Olympic break. And so I think we'll probably see more movement afterwards. Now, if I were a team acquiring Artemi Panarin, I would want him in my little training camp. And he's not playing for the New York Rangers right now, so there is no risk of him being injured. That's somebody that I would probably want in my little mini camp, because those are very beneficial. You don't get that kind of practice time ever in an NHL season. So I think that that's very, very important, but I don't think we're going to see a ton of activity. And I think it's because GMs or owners, whoever it is, are sort of saying, well, why would I acquire a guy and pay him for 2 weeks when he's not playing a game for me until the end of February? They're businessmen after all. And I mean, I think that that's probably part of why we're not going to see a ton of action.
Thanks so much for this. Enjoy the week, and we'll talk to you next Monday.
Sounds good, Lowetide.
There you go. Rachel Krychak from Betalytics, ESPN, every Monday. Get the reset. I like the information that we got on McMahon. We'll find out. Would be a good target for the Edmonton Oilers based on their need. I follow a place on Twitter on X called Dad Jokes, and I like this. The man who invented the wind chill factor has sadly passed away. He was 98, but felt like 85. On the way in hour number 2, more bad jokes. After all, we do have Josh with us. We'll be talking to Jason Gregor at 1:20, Declination's Mama MMA at 1:40. And up next, after the break, What's your favorite Super Bowl snack? Your nibbly. What do you like? Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 on YouTube. Time for an update with Declan Krueger.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly, 780-265-0165. Calvin Pickard, who was waived by the Edmonton Oilers, has cleared waivers. He was 5-6-2 in 16 appearances this season with an .871 save percentage and a .368 GAA. The Oilers have signed defenseman Arturo Leppinen to a one-year, two-way contract extension through 26-27. Elsewhere in the sporting world, Barry Trotz stepping down as Nashville Predators GM, but will stay on the role until a successor is found. And head coach Sean McVay and GM Les Snead have both signed extensions with the LA Rams. In the NHL tonight, Buffalo and Florida, Ottawa, Pittsburgh, New York, the Islanders, Washington, all getting the action going at 5 o'clock. Late games in the league include Vancouver in Utah and Toronto in Calgary. NBA action kicking off in just a minute's time here as we'll see New Orleans and Charlotte. In Charlotte later on today, we're going to see Houston, Indiana, Minnesota, Memphis. In the late game, we'll see the 76ers in LA to take on the Clippers. AJHL, one game, Olds and Canmore. That one going from the Bamps, Fenlands Arena at 7 p.m. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440. Stingray Radio Station. CKJR. Broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Weekly NFL giveaways, drink specials, huge screen TVs. The hits keep coming at First Round, Edmonton's NFL headquarters. Watch NFL football at First Round, and you could win a trip to your favorite NFL city for a regular season game next season. Catch NFL action Thursday nights, all day Sunday, starting with the Pro Bowl brunch from 10:30 to 2. Then Monday night, with half-price boneless wings after 6 p.m. First Round, burgers, beer, sports. Downtown and Bourbon Street, West Edmonton Mall.
They're not just a grocery store. They're a butcher, a baker, a cafe, deli, rotisserie pizza, and restaurant, all under one roof. Loca Quality Market does food differently with 2 locations to serve you. Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Visit loca.ca.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
From the first face-off to the final whistle, Sports 1440 is your home for hockey talk with live coverage, expert analysis, and pre- and post-game shows. We bring you closer to the game. Tune in 24/7 only on Sports 1440, Edmonton's sports station.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 furnace replacement company for lovers. Because the best aphrodisiac is no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace from Legacy. So forget about the oysters, baby. If you really want to check the heat, we can be a thermal couple, baby. Give me your sweet loving legacy. Heat things up with no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
$1,540 for Wolf GMC Buick. Family owned, community driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. Monday, nice day. A lot of melting going on. Winter's over. I think we can say that with absolute certainty. I called it. I don't get a lot of credit for things, but I'm going to push on this one because Since I said winter was over, all we've had is +3 to +4 degree days. And that's the truth.
Except the part where it's not.
Well,
you said,
hello,
"Oh,
Mr.
winter's
Rain
over,"
Cloud.
and then it was back to snowing and -12 or whatever for like a whole week.
Selective memory. One of us has that.
You and I are literally walking outside together. You have the hood up and your jacket on, and you go, and I was like, "Oh, hey, aren't you the one that said winter's over?" You're like, "I lied. I just."
Wow, that hurts that you would say that about me on the radio.
That I would tell the truth.
Yes, it's very, very bad. All right, so this segment I want to talk about, and I'd love to have you text us because I'm looking for ideas. I'm in a bit of a rut in terms of Super Bowl snacks. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Basically, we order pizza, have some beers, maybe some pop. I might have a Crown Royal and ginger. Sometimes we'll do nachos, but you'll probably be working on Super Bowl, will you?
Nope.
Okay. So what's your ideal Super Bowl nibbly nabbly?
Like just everything around, or like one?
It was a meal, or what's your go-to? Like you couldn't possibly get through the Super Bowl without it.
The one is wings. Buffalo and honey garlic. Those are the two.
Do you order them or do you make them yourself?
Depends. If I'm in Calgary with my family, then yeah, we make them. If not, I'll just order them. That's fine. I'm not snobby like that. Some sort of dip, spin dip, buffalo chicken dip, French onion dip, something like that. Or underrated, go to the supermarket and get Hell of a Good. It's just a dip in a pack, and get the French onion one. Oh man, that is banging! I tell you.
Is it Hell of a Good?
It's Hell of a Good. And then you throw some veggies, baby carrots, celery, cucumber in there. Yeah. You got to feel a little healthy.
Don't do the tomatoes because they splash.
No, you don't need tomatoes. All right, don't do the tomatoes. Just get cucumber. Get the green stuff. You don't want the red stuff. Your buffalo wings are already red.
Anything else? Is that the deal? That's what you'd go to?
Meatballs.
Chips?
I think we do meatballs sometimes.
Okay. You don't do like sliders or anything?
No. We've never really been a big. It's a lot more effort and ground beef and things. We spend the meat money on the wings and possibly meatballs, depending on the year.
I do sometimes when I do nachos. I'll make some hamburger and throw that on too.
Oh yeah, hey, that's a great move.
All right, Declan. What about you? What's your? I'm assuming that it's
tofu, like you said.
Have a radish and then wait until halftime.
Well, like the biggest
beet.
one. What was that?
A raw beet.
I like beets a lot. The biggest one is I like a diet caffeine-free soda. So like A&W root beer. They now have diet Orange Crush, Nails.
Hey, that's living.
I like wings, but you can't make the wings at home, even in the air fryer. You just got to order them from somewhere. I think.
I do agree with that. I think they're better if you order them.
I don't. Yeah,
it's just a bad cook talking right there.
Pizza is classic. I love pizza at the Super Bowl. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm there to watch the game.
See, pizza's good because you can, if you're talking, which I usually am, even if it's there for an hour, it's still, you can eat it, right? And if it's leftovers for the next day, cold pizza's good.
I have cold pizza for lunch today, actually, funny enough.
Nothing wrong.
You know what? Also, let's not, I like Munchie Mix. You know that one? The blue bag as far as chips go?
You like trail mix kind of thing? Or
not for the Super Bowl. I love trail mix, not for the Super Bowl. Super Bowl, I want some chips. And also, the day after the Super Bowl, that Monday, that should be a holiday.
I agree. Mackenzie, what's your Super Bowl go-to if you have one? And if you don't, that's fine too.
Well, actually, my mom... Actually,
no attitude there.
No, my mom and stepdad, they go all out for the Super Bowl. Nice. And every year they do a theme. All the food is themed for the two teams that are playing in it. So
Seattle, like Pike's Place Market, and
Starbucks.
New England is whatever the clam. Is it which chowder is it?
Chowder.
Is it clam chowder?
I don't know.
Chowder and Dunkin'.
Chowder.
Yeah.
You get some crullers and black coffee from Dunkin', and then you throw it up against Starbucks. See what's what.
So
see
they're
what
both
works.
ocean, right? So fish would
Yeah.
be the theme, right?
I don't know what he has on the menu yet. But
So it's a surprise. You don't know till
Yeah.
you get there. I see.
But he always does two, like the Cheetos hot wings. So he
Mhm.
like crushes up hot Cheetos and then breads them, the chicken wings in that. And those are a staple and they're always super, super good.
That sounds like a really good idea. We have some
Who said
suggestions.
fondue?
Bacon wrapped scallops for Super Bowl.
Great pull.
That's
Those are
from
delicious.
Dallas.
And would fit the theme.
Aaron says, LT, you need to try Manitoba's own La Cucina tortilla chips and make the recipe on the back of the bag. Hot hamburger dip, game changer. Next stop, Flavor Town.
Man, so those chips that he just mentioned, they're like the best tortilla chips ever.
Really
I had
good.
no idea they were from Winnipeg, but they're very good. They're light and they're flavorful. Like they're so good. I don't know if you guys have had them, but
No, I haven't.
ooh, they're so good.
Adam says, must go is to spicy chili with a good buffalo chicken wing dipped with nachos. Okay. Groundhog Day, brisket. It is Groundhog Day, right? Did Wyatt and Willie see Michelle?
Puxatawny Phil or
He
somebody
did.
No, it's Wyatt and Willie in Canada. Puxatawny Film is American.
There's also Balzac Billy down in
Right,
Balzac.
I forgot about that.
Famed place of where Josh Fenwick used to work, just so everyone knows.
First record I ever played at a radio station was called Do the Balzac Boogie.
Nice.
Yeah. Things your memories.
Man, I saw the funniest tweet today. It was like the aliens visiting us. So the groundhogs are omnipotent. Humans, yes.
Red says, gonna go with smoked queso for Super Bowl. Have to have hot wings too. There you go. Bacon wrapped asparagus is deadly. Asparagus can turn on you, you know.
The Super Bowl is kind of the one snack day of the year where I think it's all pretty chalk for most people across the board.
Yeah, that's true. As long as you have something, right?
If you
Like,
have
can't
things that are wrapped in bacon, a form of dip, a form of protein, and like meatballs or wings or nachos with beef on top or something like that, and then the veggie tray.
I think like the better question that we should ask is like, what's the worst Super Bowl snack someone once brought to a party?
Oh.
Because that might yield some funny
Chocolate-filled
results.
croissants.
Well, I always go to when there's people say the worst snack somebody brought to any party, it's the Jell-O with fruit cocktail in it. And you kids don't know about that, but it used to exist. People would slough that off. How long does it take you to make Jell-O? Like, you know, overnight, it's like 89 cents, and fruit cocktails a can for like 45 cents. And you're bringing that over there, Henry? Go to hell.
Genius. You're just operating. I mean, like, what was it? The 85 cents back in your day is now like what, $9.75 in ours?
Well, it'll be like $4.50 for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to be able to get a barbecue potato chips, like a Coca-Cola, and a Cuban lunch for 35 cents.
What?
Yeah.
Know what I can do with 35 cents right now?
Throw it away.
I can put the dime in my pocket and go, hey, anyone want to bet a quarter?
You could literally. I used to, you know, I delivered Sears packages for a while, and my dad would find me odd jobs, which I don't want to talk about. So I would always have a little bit of money, and I'd go to the KV Bowl and I'd have chips and Coke for like 25 cents.
My dad used to tell me stories of when his dad would send him down to the corner store for a pack of cigarettes with like 50 cents, and he would be able to get those and like a drink and some chips as well. Maybe it was like $1. I don't know what the monetary value was. But.
At the bar, I used to go to. I got in the bar early. You could get like for 65 cents, you could get like cigarettes.
Society really went backwards when we stopped selling cigarettes to children.
You know, there's a lot of truth.
If you want to pinpoint the exact time, that's not a bad place to start.
Jay and Victoria, veggie tray, nachos. What else? Chili with buns. That's a good idea. Wings. Last time the Hawks won the one I made or bought, chili, wings, veg tray, nachos. 10 people were there. This year, my wife and I are listening to your suggestions. I love Jell-O and fruit cocktail. Walter, I'm sending you all that I have. You'll have to make it yourself, but God love you, man. Fried egg on top of steamed white rice with Spam on top. What are you doing, Brian? Oh, that's the worst one. Probably.
Oh yeah, that's got to be the worst one.
I was
That
going to
can't
call
be-
Brian out hard there.
That can't be a real one.
No. Veggie tray. What are we doing with veggies? They're just less efficient meat. I don't know. Whoever invented the carrot cake deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. I think we can agree on that.
The carrot cake is delicious.
Oh, man, especially with the icing, which is not made of carrot. Orange Jello with mandarin orange slices, which is spectacular from Cat Dad.
Carrots.
What?
I'm asking Big Mike over here. What do you mean the frosting isn't made with carrots?
The
carrot cake.
The icing, I didn't say frosting, the icing on carrot cake is not made out of carrots.
Yeah.
What?
Of course.
Oh my God.
Like, Jaw.
I've been lied to my entire life.
You thought it was made of carrots.
Sure, man.
The cream cheese icing?
It's cream cheese. Doofus.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, you're being the fool, and we're not catching on, which makes us the fool. Okay.
But okay, whatever. We'll move
it's okay.
on.
Go ahead.
No, because I'm just saying, like, even still, so like the joke was,
What
like,
do you mean?
knowing your mic's on, like talking to Mac. Like, I don't get.
No,
like,
no,
I don't
I
get.
did. Well, so every time I'll look over at Big Mike over here, and something will be playing on TV, and I'll be like, "What do you mean? That's how that works?" Go to my roommate all the time. He'll be like, "Oh, did you see what happened in sports?" And I'll be like, "No, what happened in sport? Oh, the Oilers and Flames played. Oh my God, what was the final score? Tell the presses." And then he clocks it.
Right. Cooked celery with celery drippings. What are we doing here? Oh, the worst again. I'm sorry. Lowetide, did you return the bottle for Mojo's 2 for 1 cent? I did. I liked the Mojo's. And the Jawbreakers were 5 cents, I think. And you could get 5 bubble gums in a wrapper, and they were different colors. So it was like rainbow color. And those were like, I think, 5 cents. Yeah. What's the difference between frosting and icing? I don't care. I just know I like icing.
Well, you can't frost a puck.
Zinger.
That was pretty good. The dad jokes thing earlier.
Yeah, no. Hey, listen,
I was playing into the bit well.
Nothing wrong with that. Pigs in a blanket is good from spaghetti.
I nailed that. We
Spaghetti
should
would
have
be
given that
good.
more credit.
Sig's and vending machine. Yeah, you put your money in, and then you pull the right plug, and out comes your players.
Accessible to children also, by the way.
Well, I'll tell you, we all lived mostly, Well, it was a different time.
Unfortunately.
No one has regretted their decisions until one takes a serving of tomato aspic salad from Cousin Colin. I'll take your word for it. Salads and Super Bowls don't really go together, do they?
No. It has to be the only salad allowed would be Caesar salad. No, I lied. Potato salad.
The Cardinals hired LaFleur. Is that breaking now? Is that
no? That was yesterday.
Okay, I'm sorry. I missed that when I was watching.
Another sneaky one is pretzels are a very Super Bowl snack.
Oh
in a bowl. Like, you don't see pretzels a lot of places just on their own, but you see them at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, my son loves pretzels. We always have pretzels at the house. They're very good. All right, Jason Gregor on the way. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Six Mountain on Sportsnet. We'll have the call with our colleague Gene Principe. Colleague Gene Principe. Bouchard. Hyman collided with the linesman as well as Middleton. That was spooned back near the blue line, grabbed by Bouchard. On to McDavid. On to McDavid. In front. Gets a bounce. Kucherov, a shot, and it's stopped by Swayman, and now he goes after somebody. That's Hagel in front of the net again. Swayman is hot. Vasilevsky's coming out across. Vasilevsky's coming out across. Vasilevsky's coming out across. Here we go. Swayman and Vasilevsky may go. Swayman tells Van and he obliges.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. Playing the hits today. Got our CanCon count up. We're doing well. Thank you, Declan, for all you do. Can you preview for us declinations? You said there was a lot of fighting words on the weekend and last week. What can you tell us?
This performance against the Mayweather so clean, easily one of the top 5
We love it. We're just ahead of Gregor. You said he was on the phone. Did it sound like he was talking to somebody important or just,
All his calls are important.
Well, I guess that's probably fair. Old-fashioned tomato aspic, the Southern lady cooks. Apparently it's very good. If the Oilers could add a true young center for number 2 line like Thomas, they'd be cooking with petrol from Perplexed Oilers fan. As he slides into the room, ladies and gentlemen, Jason Gregor. How was your weekend?
It's pretty good. Al, you?
Good. I very interesting outdoor game. The curling was excellent. Not so much the Oilers Wild, but the first period was fun.
First period was great. And the Oilers just actually, even in the second period, I thought they had stretched. They didn't score. And then, right off the face-off, if you lose a draw cleanly like that, it'll happen. Could your goalie make a save there? I don't know. Maybe. I don't really blame him that much. I didn't like the Hughes goal right off the end board, but you only scored twice. They've given up 25 goals in 5 games. I'm not blaming the goalie. I'm so tired of it.
Me
people
too.
wanting to blame the damn goalie.
Thank you.
You did it for 2 years. Oh, Skinner left, and you thought all the problems would magically be solved. The Oilers have shown they can play good defense. And when they play good defense, they'll be a good team. They played good defense in December. And even actually earlier in the year, they couldn't score to save their life. And so right now, they've kind of let it go away. Now, the difference is Toronto, when Toronto's goalie came out and said, hey, we got to play better defensively, people in Toronto lost their minds.
Yeah.
And everybody in Edmonton was like, yeah, Matthias Ekholm, we got to play better defensively. Leon Draisaitl, we got to play better defensively. We got to just dial it back in. And that's all it is. It's not a reason to go crazy. And the Oilers, do I expect that they'll reel it in? Yes, because they've done it in the past. And playing weak defensively in January has zero bearing on what happens in the playoffs.
It is a team that is being measured against a Stanley Cup final, though. And that does mean that for some, every mistake, like the Bouchard gaff on the, was it Faber goal? That's like made even larger. But when you look at what this team can do when they're on, the worry I have is maybe a little bit about Savoy in a top 9 role, or if Ike Howard is needed in the playoffs. Do you think we're about to see a winger added here?
I do. I don't see Ike Howard in the playoffs. I don't see a Howard and Savoy. It's one or the other, because neither one of them is going to play in your fourth line. So they're in your third line. And I know I've seen a lot of talk because Derek Ryan came out and said, "Oh, you have to have a role." And I'm like, well, Derek, let's be honest here. Took me 30 seconds to look up the minutes of the fourth line in Florida the last 2 years. Who won the cup? Do you know what it was? 8 minutes the first year, 8 and 30. And then it was 7:58. The difference was Gadjevich and Greer are big and physical. And when they were on the ice, they were heat-seeking missiles, and they would make their 8 minutes noticeable, right? So thinking the fourth line is going to play 11, 12 minutes is kind of delusional, just if I'm being honest.
But that's what a fourth liner would say.
Yeah,
I need
sure.
more
The
time.
third line can play more. And here's, if I look into my crystal ball, Al, things that I expect coming out of the Olympic break, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins will be the third line center for a few reasons. I think they would have done it here before, but, and I've said it many times, everyone's like, well, play Nugent center. You're not breaking it up when Connor McDavid was on a heater of heaters on his line. You're not doing it, right? And so now you're not doing it because you got 2 games left. So let's just finish it off. The Oilers had just won 3 in a row. I know they weren't playing great, but they still won 3 in a row. Now you've got 2 teams below you in the standings. You win. You'll have the break. You'll come out. You'll have practice for a week, which you never get. Leon and Connor come back at the Olympic break, and guess what? The reason you're going to run 3 lines then is because you're definitely going to be playing less minutes for your top guys at that point. Not that they can't handle it, because they can, but it's just you're saving them a few minutes a night. It's not like they're going to go down to 16 minutes. Like, that's why I always laugh when McDavid plays 21 minutes in a game. Oh, they should play McDavid less. I said, oh, so that 1 minute is somehow going to drastically improve your fourth line. Like, you got to get your third line playing a bit more. And that will happen, I think, when Nugent-Hopkins plays third line center. And I fully expect him to look as a winger. Now, if the only thing you can get, I say only, is the third line center, then yes, you could add a third line center at the deadline. But I'd rather add a winger and play Nugent-Hopkins as a center.
Yeah, that's all fair. Calvin Pickard waived and cleared waivers. What's the next step? Do you see him?
Well, he's still on the roster. Everybody confuses waivers to be. He hasn't been reassigned. He just got placed on waivers. You can be placed on waivers and not reassigned. He's not going to be reassigned until after the Olympic break.
Yeah. And so they obviously aren't going to make another move along with it. I mean, they signed Leppinen today, but do you see them making any other transactions before the Olympic break?
Well, there's really no reason to, right? Like I saw people out, you got to put Picker in the minors because then you can accrue cap space. They're in LTIR. You can't accrue cap space in LTIR. So the only thing you could do after Wednesday's game, Thursday, would be activate Henrique, send Pickard down, send Szymanski down, but you'd have to send someone else down to accrue cap space. So the other player is going to be a veteran. And if you want to look like a complete dick organization, then that's what you would do to that player at that time. So do I expect another move before the I know the trade freeze is Wednesday, so we're basically 48 hours away from that. I don't get the sense of it. People asking about Bobby McMahon. I can tell you, I do know that as of last week, Toronto still felt like they were in it. They weren't ready yet to throw up the white flag. Now, you come out of the Olympic breakout, and that would change a lot. Would the Oilers have interest in a guy like McMahon? They would. I can say that for certain that they would. Obviously, he would fit in this year very well because of his very low cap space, because they can't take on a lot of cap space. So at $1.3 million, that would help a lot. So, what's the return going to be? Like, does Edmonton want to give up a first for Bobby McMahon? I don't know. Toronto gave up a first for Scott Lawton.
Right.
How's that working out for them? Like, it's top 10 protected next year. So, so it all depends on where you're at and what you want to give up. But, guys like that, I think for Edmonton, the realistic trade talks will occur during the Olympic break, but obviously none can happen until after. And then we basically have a 11, 12 days. It's March 6th.
Yes.
Right. So we got 11 days for trade talk, not even, maybe 9.
And then like I keep getting asked this, and I'm like, there may not be a market. Mangiapane, anything?
Well, I can say this: there's no teams looking to get Andrew Mangiapane right now. But is there a trade where a team to facilitate the trade would take Andrew Mangiapane? Yes, because they're going to have to do something when they activate Adam Henrique. They don't have, they would have to move someone else down. Now, I haven't crunched the numbers. If you sent down Pickard, you sent down Szymanski, and you sent down Mangiapane, because he would free up $1.2 million. Pickard would free up $1 million. Szymanski's what, like is he 775?
775.
So even that I don't think is enough. I'd have to double check it, right? Because that's going to put you right around 3, right? 1.2, 1 million, 2.2, 2.975, right? So do they have 25K in cap space? They might to get Henrique on. So that's a move you could do in in the meantime to get Henrique on the roster. Because I talked to Adam and he's everything's healing fine. He's fully expected to be practicing with the team for a week before the Olympic break or before they come out of the break.
Lots of folks on my blog are looking at Connor Unger as a guy who at some point might get recalled. But I feel like the Oilers, Unger's playing really well. And I know he's an RFA, but that's more of a sign him next year, play him in Bakersfield next year. He's a year away from being a factor in the NHL. Or am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
Okay.
I know everybody likes to say St. Louis, right? Because of Binnington. That's the example they're using. Now, who was St. Louis's 2 goalies 2019?
Geez, they had
right. None of them were playing like Tristan Jarry.
No.
Right. So I know people will just look at Tristan Jarry, and here's the fun numbers about Tristan Jarry. The last 4 appearances he's made in the 5 games where the Oilers are allowed 25 goals. He's allowed 10 goals, 5-on-5. So not ideal until you realize that he's still +3 in goals saved above expected. So it's not just goaltending. I didn't love the Hughes goal, but they've been giving up too much. And it's hard to evaluate anybody when you're giving up that many high danger quality chances. I don't care who the goalie is. And if you think that you're going to bring up a rookie goalie, and by the way, the great part about Unger is he's made the jump from the ECHL to the AHL and it's looked good.
Yeah.
But the jump from the AHL to the NHL is a bigger jump than the ECHL to the AHL. And so you're going to tell me that your plan is to bring in a rookie goalie to a team playing weak defensively, and that's going to help? I'm sorry, it's wrong. The team needs to get better playing defensively. And once they do, then Ingram and Jarry will look better. I don't think Unger, and I think some people are probably going to freak out, Al, so just going to warn them. When Calvin Pickard, after the Olympic break, goes down to the minors, you might see Unger go back to the ECHL. And people are going to be like, Gregor, you're an idiot. Why would you say that? Because I always look at development. If Pickard goes down, now, because even now, Unger's splitting in the American League, right? He's splitting.
Yeah.
He's not playing every game. He's splitting.
No.
So you could keep him splitting, or you could play him every game in the ECHL.
And by the way, both goalies are playing well down there.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Unger is playing unreal, but Tompkins lately has been playing pretty good. Now, they've been decimated by injuries, and that's why he's had to make a record, 51 stops. Like, I know they got some guys back finally, but, they need some help on the blue line there. They've been pretty banged up, so that will help them. But no, I don't expect Connor Unger. What he's done has opened the franchise's eyes, which is awesome. And now it's a matter of, okay, let's continue it. Now he comes in next year, and you look and say, hey, maybe he's our number 3 goalie in the organization, that when an injury does occur, and lots of teams use 3 goalies now, we're comfortable with him. We don't have to go out and sign, some other veteran goalie. But I think Matt Tompkins is also under contract next year too.
I believe so, yeah.
So, it comes down to they probably have him and Tompkins in the AHL next year.
There's some really good players in the AHL, forwards specifically. Robert Iovente is playing really well. They obviously have Ike Howard and others playing down. Hamlin is playing well down there. Not necessarily for recall, because I don't think that's a strong option. Any of those guys have enough value maybe to include in a trade, or are they just all guys?
Well,
every
Ike Howard would have tons of value in a
Right.
trade. I don't think there's any debate on that. So he would have value. I think Hudson would have some value, and the reality is, Hudson, Savoy, Howard, they're not all going to play in Edmonton because they're two similar type of players. Now, Yarventi's different because he's he's kind of like a third line winger style of player. Okay hands, but big, strong.
Rambunctious.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what it is. Clattenburg is definitely a fourth line player.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that. Szymanski, bottom 6 center. So now you've got 3 guys who you look as wingers in their top 6. Potentially. Doesn't mean any of them will be there, but that's what they're like.
Sure.
Then you've got a third line winger in Yarventi. You've got a fourth line winger in Clattenburg. And you got a third or fourth line center, probably a fourth line center to start in Szymanski. That's good. That's what you want. You want different players for different roles. And you look in the organization and say, okay, we don't have to go out and try to sign a veteran guy for the fourth line center spot. We've got Szymanski.
Yeah.
All right. So we can maybe look elsewhere for something. And that's a good problem to have in the organization. It helps that, that's where you're pro scouting. And even could James Hamlin be a fourth line center right now? He easily could. So they've got some options in different roles, but yeah, I would think Hudson and Howard would definitely have the most, cachet on a trade market. But look, people maybe not following, but Xavier Bargault, who got traded for Yarventi, right? He's been playing a few games in Ottawa, right? Could Yarventi be a piece that plays somewhere else? Yeah, maybe, depending on it. You got to remember, a guy in the American League in Edmonton could play on an NHL team in other markets some places.
Sure.
Just because Edmonton's, a better team right now. And they got a lot of veterans. Like you can't just throw out all your veterans because you don't like how they're playing for a short time.
Yeah, it's true. Any scenario you see Matt Savoy being dealt at the deadline?
I'd be surprised. I don't see why they would do that. I guess it all depends. Who am I getting in return?
Sure. Yeah.
Right. So I'm not going to say Matt Savoy's untradeable. That would be stupid of me. But I don't think that they're looking at that. Like Matt Savoy's had a really good rookie year, right? Showing glimpses of some offense. More importantly, he's shown good defensive acumen, and he's on your penalty kill. You're
Plus
like,
he's
hey,
speedy.
right? Why would I want to get? He's cheap.
No.
Why he's not putting up numbers that are going to command a huge salary? Why would I want to trade that guy? Like, all depends. What am I getting in return? But
he's going to have 12 to 15 goals.
yeah,
at
like
the end
Matt Savoy is not a guy I'm interested in trading at all right now.
Did you catch the curling last night?
I did. They went back to us.
Yeah, it was
At fifth Scotties now.
yeah. That shot to send it to extras was a hell of a shot.
Yeah.
The high guard was so.
And they're
high.
not even the best teams in Canada right now because the best teams going to the Olympics.
Yeah,
and so that shows you how like the Canadian men and women's curling are both very deep on both sides. There's no question. And I had Mark Kennedy on the show on Friday. He's jetting out tomorrow for the Olympics, his fourth. And yeah, Canada, like good curling. I like it late. I'll be honest. I'm not really watching the first and second stones, so first and seconds, but I'll watch the third and the fourth stones because you kind of see the development. So I'm not as much of a diehard curler as others who will watch every end, and I respect them. It's great, right? Some people aren't going to watch every game of the orders. Everybody has different interests of level, but will I watch the Olympics early on? Oh yeah, it's a little bit different.
It's like the NBA. The last 2 minutes are everything.
Yeah. Well, even the fourth quarter, but I still I like the NBA. I know it gets a bad. Some people want to. Well, if I talk bad about the NBA, it makes the NHL look better. It's like the people who talk bad about the CFL think it makes the NFL look better. I just think it makes you look insecure. You can say, it's not really for me. No problem. That's fine. End it there.
Speaking of the Elks, young Declan doing a great job writing about all these acquisitions they've had lately.
Well, we talked about it last week. What was the number one thing? O-line. They got 3 O-linemen, right? So they got some depth. They got some competition, right? You bring in, a rush end, which is what they needed. Like obviously Serezna leaves and he goes to Winnipeg on a 2-year deal. And, I wish Jake all the best. Maybe he's fully healthy, but, Edmonton has to hope that, their free agent signings this year pan out a little bit better than the free, like their big ones, that is, right? And this year, the only big one so far, right, is the rush end position. So, and that's, you need that position. But I like, Barlow and the young guys at the end of the year. They came in and, Brinkman can stay healthy. Tamari Fox is a guy I'm very interested to see. I know they're very high in him and what he can bring in. And why am I forgetting his name? Robbie Smith, right? Robbie Smith healthy, I think would be another one. So I like the D-line depth. They brought some linemen in, and the fact that they signed an American O-lineman is not lost on me, Al.
Yeah.
Right. Like there's going to be some competition here more in the O-line.
And Trey Ford goes home to
we kind of call, not to pat my back, but Hamilton seemed the obvious fit for me. Go home. You can learn under Milanovic. You can be the backup for Bo Levi Mitchell. And really for Trey Ford, now the onus will be on him to show, okay, I'm going to improve my footwork. Right? Those are some of the little things because his athleticism's off the charts. You give him the ball, every now and then you got to ad-lib, buddy. I'll take him over ad-libbing over most guys when it comes to running the ball. But, Bo Levi Mitchell's a guy who stays pretty healthy. So I could see why he went to Hamilton over Montreal because just now Alexander isn't young, right, per se, but he doesn't have the wear and tear of a Bo Levi Mitchell. Right. And so I would think the road to the starter in Hamilton might be a little bit shorter, right? Probably a year and a half, maybe 2 full years. We'll see how long Bo plays. But Trey Ford, this is your opportunity now to really use it. And if you don't become a starter until 29, who cares?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like it doesn't matter.
You can still play a decade.
Yes, easily.
Yeah, for sure. What's coming up on the show?
Woodley will be by. We'll talk final week of goaltending, the problems in Calgary and Toronto. Obviously, both teams at the Oilers play here the next 2 nights. And, the Oilers, Hey, Al, the first 56 games have not been Picasso by any stretch, but guess what? They wake up today and they're tied for first. And Vegas, they're down to only one game in hand. So they had 3, now they're down to 1, and they're tied in points. Edmonton has the most games against the Pacific Division down the stretch. They play Vegas 3 times. They play Anaheim. They play all these teams. So they control their destiny actually a little bit more than the others. Like some of these teams, they have like 8 games against the Pacific. San Jose, I think, only has 7. Edmonton doesn't have to go on the East Coast. All these teams are going to the East Coast. So it's right there for Edmonton, even though they haven't played. And they're lucky because their division hasn't been as strong. So can they take advantage of it? In these 2 games, I'll say, I'm sorry, Toronto is not playing great. Calgary's not playing great. These are teams you should beat.
Yeah, for sure. And the last time they won the division, it was called the Smythe, and I was in my 20s. It's been a while.
1987 now.
There you go.
1987.
All right. Look forward to your show. Thanks, Jason.
Have a good one.
On the way, it's Declinations. We're going to talk Mama MMA. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. 60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Shoulder pain. It can make even the simplest things like reaching up, lifting a bag, brushing your teeth, or sleeping frustrating. Rotator cuff strains, impingement, arthritis, they're some of the most common issues we treat every day. I'm Grant Fedoruk, and at Leading Edge Physio, our team brings postgraduate training, evidence-based technology, and just the right amount of humor and humility to help you feel better. Because we never forget the most important part, the gratitude we feel for every patient who allows us the opportunity to care for them. Because life shouldn't hurt. When it does, leadingedgephysio.com.
Something's happening. Something big. The Service Big Share Contest is back, where just by saving money with Service Credit Union, you could win $1 million. From now until the end of April, the more money you save with us, the more chances you have to win. The Service Big Share Contest. Isn't it time to feel good about your money? The Service Big Share Contest ends April 30th, 2026. No purchase required. For information and rules, visit service.ca/win.
Ooh, girl, the way you touch that thermostat, it really turns me on. Like a heat exchanger, sensual phenomenon. Wanna play your favorite song when we turn the heat on like a legacy of love.
Legacy Heating and Cooling keeps your Valentine sizzling hot. You can afford to shower your Valentine with affection because Legacy offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. And that's how you build your legacy of love. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
From the locker room to your radio, Sports 1440 is Edmonton's sports leader. Real talk, big personalities, and your texts. It's interactive. It's fun. It's where Edmonton talks sports. Sports 1440.
When your driveway's covered in snow, Toro and the Lawnmower Hospital have you covered. Toro's gas or battery-powered single-stage power-clear snowblowers make it easy to clear right down to the concrete with incredible Toro-powered Propel technology. Face the next snow day without fear thanks to Toro and the Lawnmower Hospital. Visit lawnmowerhospital.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Whoa. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Family owned, community driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. We could do segments every day using ABBA songs. SOS could be the injured list. Dancing Queen, I'm not sure. But that's a good song. We should play that one. Winner Takes It All for championships.
Fernando, and it's just we talk about Fernando Mendoza
and Pisani. That would be a great one.
Probably makes a little more sense in this market.
Ring ring when we get a phone call. We could do it. We could so do that, man. What a great idea. It's time for Declinations, brought to you by Elks Nation. Check out the new website, elksnation.ca, article, podcast, and more, breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth double E football coverage online, elksnation.ca. He's been smoking with the articles lately. You must have written like 2 in the last
3.
Okay.
3. I love writing.
No, it's fine.
It's a lengthy process.
It is. And then you got to edit and make sure you spell things right.
Well, I wrote this last one really rushed because I just wanted to get it out there. Like, it was a huge day. Free agency communication window opens. And I went back and read it. And obviously you're your own harshest critic. But I just I hated it. I couldn't get through one paragraph. I was just like, this kind of sucks. And again, I think that's a big part of you're your own harshest critic. And I do like to think it was decent information about all the players and stuff, but
you got to get an editor like Israel. Israel is so good.
Zach Lang's the editor over at Elks Nation, does an unbelievable job, incredible job.
I wish I had an editor for this show. Like, it was in my brain. I'd be so much better.
You could be. You've chosen to have this show editorless. Don't act like it couldn't have been there.
Point.
But yeah, no, it's I like writing. Good stuff. Article up on the release of Trey Ford, Austin Mack signing, all the new guys getting brought in.
And you like the wide receiver room. You love the running back room. Now you love the wide receiver room.
Yeah, I like a lot about that Elks team. And Saskatchewan got theirs last year, so the Elks get the next 5,
Well, they need a couple, I think, to get back in the ball.
They just got to make the playoff.
Rough Riders, the whole damn province just, is in love with them.
They lost a lot. Revis, Allen.
They did.
Carney, obviously, and Robespierre, obviously, both coming here. Riders lost a lot. Jake Mayer, who I liked as a backup quarterback, and Trevor Harris is 39.
That's what happens when you have success, though. Everybody, comes to calling.
I'll tell you, though, a lot of eyes on those high-profile moments, and those guys get paid. Those guys get their rings, then they want to go get paid.
They looked really businesslike and efficient getting it done, too. And I think that teams like that, where like this guy, I can count on this guy.
They had shades of Indiana to them.
A little bit
this year. UFC 325 this past weekend. Alex Volkanovski, what can I say? You're the best featherweight to ever do it. You probably have been for a while. And I'm not saying, beating Diego Lopez on a 1-fight win streak is something that just immediately adds to your legacy and puts you in that echelon of being the best ever. But it's what he's doing at this age. And he had 2 really, really, really bad back-to-back losses that were bad knockout losses. To Islam Makhachev, where he got head kicked in the first round. And then to Ilia Topuria, where he just kind of got slumped over. And I think it was the second or third round. Maybe it was the third round. And he came back after those 2 losses, and he fought a really, really dangerous guy in Diego Lopez for the vacant title. He won it, and then he rematched Diego Lopez this past weekend, and he won again. A clear win, 49-46 on 2 cards, 50-45 on the other. And it was an undeserved title shot. Like Diego Lopez... First of all, Alex Volkanovski just beat him in his last fight. He hasn't had a fight since then. Diego Lopez did get a win back against Jean Silva, who's a really good contender as well. He won recently against a really good guy in Arnold Allen last weekend. But it was just kind of an undeserved shot. Like, he shouldn't have had it. He did. And the UFC, they love to push their favorites. And now you're sitting here being like, okay, Diego's lost to Alex Volkanovski twice in a year. Yes, Volkanovski's a little bit older and he's not going to be there forever. But what's the plan with Diego Lopez now? Like, you just fast-tracked him twice. You kind of gave him the shot twice over Movsar Evloev, who's beaten him in the UFC. What is the contingency plan now for Diego Lopez? Is it just fun fights from here on out? Is it get 3-4 in a row until Volk retires and give him another title shot? Like, I'm not sure. But Diego Lopez definitely going to be up against it in terms of finding his way back to that title fight. And Alex Volkanovski, like I said, I think he's the greatest featherweight ever. How you want to rank 2 and 3, because I think that's really the option between Aldo and Holloway. Go about that, have that debate amongst yourself. And what Aldo did in the WEC was great, but as far as the best UFC featherweight ever, I got to give it to Alex Volkanovski. Co-main event: Benoit Saint Denis and Dan Hooker. Benoit Saint Denis dropped 2 back-to-back in really bad fashion. He got knocked out by Dustin Poirier really, really badly, and then he got It was a doctor's stoppage against Renato Moicano, who's not really that good. Like, everyone likes Money Moicano, but he's not really that good. We kind of got to call a spade a spade. And since then, 4-fight win streak, each win kind of more impressive than the last. I believe it's a 4-fight win streak. I better just double check that for accuracy's sake. But like I said, each win's been more, 4-fight win streak. Each win's been more impressive than the last. He knocked out Beneil Dariush in 16 seconds of the fight before this. And then this one, he was able to just get the fight to the ground and impose his will on Dan Hooker, who doesn't have much of a jiu-jitsu game, never really been able to grapple. He's a guy who's hung around the top 5, come out of the top 5, got back there, kind of a gatekeeper for that at best. Never a guy who's going to be a world champion, but he's game. He's tough to, he's tough to put away. And Benoit Saint-Denis was able to do it with the ground and pound in this one. Feature bout Mauricio Hufi and Rafael Fiziev. Rafael Fiziev is one of my favorite fighters in the UFC. He got knocked out in the second round, so pour one out for Declan, and it didn't really look good. Rafael Fiziev was a guy who got a really, really favorable matchup against the top 5 opponent, Justin Gaethje. He actually got it twice, but the first time especially, and he couldn't take advantage of it. He's dropped
looser.
Yeah, no, it's tough. And he was a guy, he's a really, really good Muay Thai fighter. But it's just writing's kind of probably on the wall that he will never be a champion and probably never fight for the belt. But love him. And, what Mauricio Hufi did, very impressive. And he's a guy who had a tough loss as well. But he bounced back. He's going to make a push at some point, probably in short order, to get to the top of that lightweight division. Super, super talented guy. Needed that loss. He had to kind of bounce back from adversity and get there. And this is a good step in the right direction for him. And then Tai Tuivasa, Australian heavyweight, fan favorite, just lost his 6th in a row this past weekend to Taliesin Teixeira, who just got knocked out by Derek Lewis. Tough go. Tai Tuivasa, he face planted Derek Lewis at one point in time. He face planted him with an elbow. He's lost 6 fights in a row since then. I wouldn't be shocked if Tai Tuivasa got cut. And then, are we shifting over to boxing now?
You're making you make the call.
All right, we'll talk a little boxing because Shakur Stevenson just became a 4-weight world champion at age 28. He's won featherweight, super featherweight, junior lightweight, now light welterweight, or lightweight, now light welterweight. He's incredible. He is so crisp. He is so pure as a boxer. He's been boxing since he was 5 years old. He became a 4-weight champion faster than Naoya Inoue, faster than Floyd Mayweather, faster than Manny Pacquiao, faster than Canelo Alvarez, not quite as fast as Oscar De La Hoya. But Teofimo Lopez is a bigger guy. Shakur was moving up in weight. He wasn't even really a lightweight. He was kind of a super featherweight. And he moved up to lightweight, obviously performed well there, then goes up another division to junior welterweight / super lightweight. And just clinical performance. Dan Rafael, who's kind of the boxing writer, if you will. He's like the Elliot Friedman of boxing, or the Schefter of boxing. He said, it was a Mayweather-esque performance. It was clinical, and it was. And he's one of the absolute top 5 best pound-for-pound boxers in the world. Crawford obviously retired, but you got to talk about Usyk, Inoue, Bam Rodriguez is in there, and you got to have Shakur right there in that top 4. Incredible stuff we're watching from him. Really, a performance he needed, because one knock on Shakur has been he's been a little bit boring. He doesn't knock you out, but this was just such a clinical, precise picking apart of a guy who had, at one point in his career beaten Vasily Lomachenko and had gone up and become a champion at 140 after doing it at 135. And Shakur made it look like he didn't even belong in the same ring with him. And truthfully, he didn't, because that's just how good Shakur is. It'll be interesting to see if he goes on to welterweight. I know he wants to fight Conor Benn, who's, a lot bigger. He beat Eubank his last time out. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with Shakur, because no one can touch him at 135 or 140, I don't believe. 147 is more of a money division, but obviously that's a bit of a jump. The guys are a little bit bigger up there. They can lean on you. So we'll see what happens.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
Do you know that there's a organization called March for Billionaires that plans on marching on February 7th in San Francisco?
I did not
say that again.
March
There's
for Billionaires.
March for Billionaires.
Why are we carrying water for the billionaires?
Well, I guess they just didn't get lucky enough in life.
No, guess not.
Poor
I'd
people.
love to stay on this topic.
Yeah.
However, Declan's a big tennis guy, and Carlos Alcaraz
Oh,
is the youngest guy to do a career Grand Slam, right?
Yes, youngest man to win the career slam, 22 years old. He might be 23.
That's
what were you
fantastic.
doing at 22?
Wasn't it
I'm
in
not
that?
22 yet, so
so you got a
couldn't tell you.
chance. You got a
So you're
chance.
telling me
No.
there's a chance,
Dude, he is. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Josh. I'll make this really quick. Carlos is Like the gap between Yannick Sinner, who's the world number 2 and has beaten Carlos in slam finals, and everyone else is immense. And the gap between Carlos and Yannick seems to be growing wider every time Carlos shows up at a tournament. Like he is a special talent. Hashtag special talent.
Don't you think, though, that to be a great, great player and to dominate your era and to be talked about forever, you need 2 or 3 strong competitors?
Yeah, but like kind of, yeah, because I think that's a big argument for Novak. The thing with like, but yeah, it's not Carlos's fault that him and Yannick are so ahead of everybody.
Larry Holmes, exactly the same way. He fought at the end of a lot of great fighters, and then he spent time not having a lot of fantastic competition.
He probably had the best jab in boxing history, though.
Yeah, I mean,
Can't take that away from him.
I feel like he's underrated. I really do. He was a great fighter. He really was.
I swear. I feel like last tennis season, this is when I was interning on the show, right? I think Declan said the exact same thing about Sinner and Alcaraz, except inversed it, because Sinner was the number 1 last year, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, they flip back and forth.
Yeah.
I'm a Sinner guy too, but like Carl, he's just too good.
Well, Sinner's
He's
got
simply too good.
Sinner's got that great movie out that everybody likes too. So there is that. All right. Thanks so much for tuning into the Lowdown. Join us tomorrow for the same kind of, wonderful programming. Jason Krueger on the way. Please enjoy your day.
Brought to you by Custom Floors Inc. Floors done right, homes or businesses. Visit the new showroom, 11577 149th Street, now open 6 days a week, Saturday hours from 10 to 2, or visit customfloorsinc.ca and bring your next flooring project to life. Edmonton Oilers news, Calvin Pickard has cleared waivers. He was 5-6-2 in 16 appearances this season with an .871 save percentage and a .368 GAA. The Oilers have signed defenseman Arturo Leppinen to a 1-year, 2-way contract extension through the 26-27 season, and Barry Trotz is stepping down as the Preds GM, but will stay on in the role until a successor is found. In the NFL, Sean McVay and Les Snead, head coach and GM of the LA Rams, have both signed extensions. NHL schedule, it gets going with 3 games at 5 o'clock, Buffalo in Florida, Ottawa and Pittsburgh, and the Islanders in Washington to take on the Capitals. Late game, we'll see the Toronto Maple Leafs in Calgary to take on the Flames. Toronto will be here to take on Edmonton tomorrow. NBA scores right now. The Pelicans lead the Hornets big, 48-30. That one, 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Rockets and Pacers at 5. T-Wolves and Grizz at 5:30. And at 8, we will see the 76ers take on Kawhi Leonard-led Clippers, the all-star-less Kawhi Leonard, LA Clippers from the Inuit Dome. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a